Aaron Rodgers, at the beginning of the season, you went to one of those practices before the games have even started and everything, and you and I were both very excited. I know Aaron pretty well. You were there watching. You said he looks like a nice guy. He's doing all this wonderful stuff, but man, he has not put himself out there in front of the fans of the New York Jets in a way that I think the Jets really want, the Jets fans want to embrace him. He's been very difficult to deal with, and it's something that I'm bothered by it. I'm sure you're bothered by it as a fan. I'm looking at the Jets. They're a 3-9 football team. They just lost again to Seattle this past week. And by the way, Aaron threw an interception for a touchdown that set a record for defensive linemen being able to return. And Leonard Williams, you probably know him well. He was a heck of a defensive lineman here for the Jets. He only took that interception back the entire way for about a 90-yard touchdown, because it shows you no matter how big you are, those guys are athletic, and people just don't realize it till they get the opportunity to watch that. But when I look at the Jets, their defense, not so bad. When I look at the offense, pretty daggone bad. They just can't do much of anything. Aaron keeps blaming this guy or that guy. My question to you, because of the fact that you're a Jets fan, what do you think? Do you think that he should come back, will come back, or do you want him back? What say you as a guy who loves the Jets, and it's been your team and you've had a lot of difficult years, but this guy has gotten in the way, it feels like to me.
Pete, I think he has, and that day at training camp in July, on the 27th of July, actually, which we had a great time. If that was any indication of how he was going to behave for the rest of the season, I got to say, maybe we shouldn't be so surprised, right? He was one of the only players that didn't walk the fence line. He was one of the only players that didn't sign autographs. He was one of the only players that didn't interact with the crowd in any way, shape, or form. He seemed to be, when he did interact with his teammates, he seemed to be scolding them, lecturing them, talking down to them. He has not demonstrated the kind of leadership that's expected from him. He's not demonstrated the kind of dedication to teamwork that's expected from somebody of his stature and what he's been paid. People here are disappointed, and I think we would be happy to not see him back. My daughter, if I knew we were going to cover this earlier, I would have brought the football that we had that day. The number of signatures on it, fantastic. And we know some folks, as you know, one of our friends used to be the general manager. We know some people, right? Yep. So we're able to get a lot of signatures. Her football's covered in signatures. That one, notwithstanding your friendship with him, that one is not on my daughter's football. And you know what? For that, I don't forgive.
He's had 5 opportunities late in the games for the Jets this year where it's like the final drive. That's what Aaron Rodgers was always about, right? He's that guy who's going to march you down the field and get that last score that you need, whether it ends up being a field goal or a touchdown or whatever. He's had 5 of them this year. He's 0 for 5. It's really disappointing in everything that you ever look at. They're the number 31 offense in the NFL, which has 32 teams, for those that are trying to count the whole thing up. That's not good. That's not pretty. No. All right, next up, we're going to look at all of the guys from the draft, Mark. We're 3/4 of the way through this year, and it's interesting to see what names are sitting at the very top. Jaden Daniels, very, very high up. He was the 2nd pick in the draft, so that's where he went. But Bo Nix, of the 6 quarterbacks, he was the 6th getting drafted. Now, he was number 12, but still 5 other quarterbacks went in front of him. Well, I'm sitting there watching Bo Nix last night. I've appreciated the kid all the way back to Auburn, going to Oregon, and then getting his opportunity with the Denver Broncos with the number 12 pick. I'll tell you what, he's a baller. The team loves him. He's the guy who gets out in front of it. He kind of reminds me a little bit of a lot of the things that Aaron Rodgers did come back with when he got into the NFL and he got his opportunity. That's what Bo Nix looks like. I'm not saying he's there yet, but I'll tell you what, the guy is special. He's got 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in the last 5 games, 2 of which came last night. But, Mark, it's interesting when he throws interceptions, it's not that 10-yard out where he misses the guy. These interceptions oftentimes for him he's launching at 40, 50 yards downfield because he's in Denver, get a little bit of extra air underneath the ball. And it's amazing what this kid is doing. But you throw that interception, yeah, you don't want to do that, but it's like a punt because the guy's 40 or 50 yards downfield. So it's not the same as getting a 10-yard out. You throw the guy the interception. He either brings it back or he gets tackled right there, and now they're deeper into your end zone. I just like everything we've seen about him. He and Jaden Daniels have come out and showed that you can do it as a rookie, very much like we'd seen out of the Texans last year. I like this kid, Bo Nix, a lot. I want you to watch him a little bit closer because you'll see him in games, and I think they're going to get in the playoffs. And this is a Denver team, let's be honest, that a lot of people wanted to flush down the toilet last year. Russell Wilson was the wrong guy. Bo Nix is the right guy, and this is an amazing job he's done. As a rookie, this guy is the number one of all the rookies, even though he was the last quarterback taken in the first round of the draft.
Remarkable performance from Bo, no doubt. And I'll ask you just quick, Pete, do you think he winds up being the favorite for Rookie of the Year over Daniels? Because Daniels was looking like he was going to get that honor.
Yeah, well, you know what? Daniels deserves it. Does Bo Nix deserve it? Probably. But quite frankly, when you really look at it, Daniels is so good with his legs. An amazing job there at Washington. He was the number 2 pick in the entire draft. And he has been absolutely magical for the team. He went through a small slump, didn't last very long. He's right back to where he was. He's a heck of a player. I think because of the fact that Washington was way worse last year than Denver was, I think that shows you how good this kid really is. So if Daniels gets it, he deserves it. Let's be honest. He really does. The Washington soon-to-be Redskins again, he really is amazing what he's been able to do as a rookie quarterback.